Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I've just wanted to say a few words about Somalia. I know North Korea is on the top of your minds, but I don't have a great deal to say on that at this stage. The Security Council has just adopted unanimously a further resolution on Somalia. Clearly, the situation in and around Mogadishu is not good at the moment, with continued attempts by the Shabab and some of their external allies to challenge the legitimate government of President Sharif and the transitional federal government of Somalia. The Security Council has agreed to extend the mandate of the African Union mission in Somalia by a further 8 months, and it's also endorsed a continuation of the far-reaching and unique logistics support package for the AMISOM force, which will amount to several $100 million worth of support over the coming year. We've also given strong support for Somali efforts to build up their own security forces and for the Djibouti process. There has been no further movement on the question of a UN peacekeeping force. We've agreed that the right arrangement at the moment is the present African Union force, and that will be our approach over the period ahead. But obviously we'll be watching the situation in Somalia very closely and giving what support we can to Sheikh Sharif to see off the attempts to overthrow his government.
Ambassador, question on Somalia before. What do you think about the recent development that some of the clerics have announced that they are going to enter into the fight against Shabab, and that we're seeing within Somalia itself there seems to be a loss of tolerance for their fight?
Well, there's been a shifting set of alliances inside Somalia for some time now. I think the withdrawal of the Ethiopian forces has removed one of the factors that has brought some of the oppositionist elements together. And I think Somalis now realise that the future of Somalia is largely in their own hands. It's not just a clan issue, although the clan dimension is important. There is also a religious issue, because there are extremist Islamists who are trying to take control. And the more moderate Islamist groups, in particular groups like the Sufis, who have long had a peaceful tradition of pursuing their own particular approach to Islam, is feeling threatened. So it's not surprising that the extremists are finding opposition from a number of quarters.
Ambassador, on Somalia.
Yeah.
You guys come on.
Go on, please.
Okay. A couple of things. One, define for us what you consider unique about this logistical mechanism as you described it, and what, in the most concrete terms, is it going to mean for support on the ground in terms of, well, whatever support.
Well, what's unique about it is that for the first time, the Security Council has agreed to provide logistical support and to pay for that through UN-assessed contributions. That is a significant step forward. It's a sizable sum of money. The Fifth Committee at the moment are working out exactly what the budget should be, but we understand it'll be somewhere between $200 and $300 million during the course of the year ahead. And that money, once it's agreed within the UN system, will be guaranteed in support of AMISOM. So it's a more reliable source of financial support than is available through the trust funds, although the trust funds remain important, not least the trust fund that's been set up to help fund the training of Somalia's own security forces.
And what's it going to mean on the ground in terms of...
Well, what it means is delivery of essential support in terms of rations and electricity and water and basic provisions that will keep the AMISOM force in place.
Okay, yeah, on Somalia, I have a question on Sri Lanka too, I guess at the end. But there were reports last week including on the BBC, of the presence of Ethiopian troops in part of Somalia. Is that anything that the Council or the UK is aware of, that the Ethiopians may have re-entered the fray?
We've seen reports. At the moment, it seems that there may be some Ethiopians across the border. I don't know. We don't have confirmation of that. But it's not an issue which the Security Council has addressed at this stage.
What would it mean if they jump back in? Is that helpful to the way the Council wants to see things?
What we want to see proceed is support for the Djibouti Agreement, and the Djibouti Agreement provides for the withdrawal of Ethiopian troops.
Ambassador, just one question about North Korea.
Yeah, please.
You're guilty about this, but 1718 didn't work given the fact that they did do a test again. Now, to add something, in addition to like a cargo inspection, what else could be logically possible at this moment?
Well, I know there's a lot of interest about what the elements will be in this new resolution. Experts are working on that. We will look to the countries who are most engaged on the issue of North Korea, that is Japan, China, Russia, the United States, to bring forward ideas. We will want to contribute to making a successful resolution which further enhances the pressures on the North Korean leadership to cooperate with the international community and to bring an end to their nuclear weapons program. I'm not the right person to ask for what the detailed elements will be. We'll be working on that in the days ahead, but just as soon as we have something to say, I'm sure we'll say it.
Is there a base that the UK wants in terms of like ship interdiction or luxury goods? Or
We're still working on that. You have to understand that the North Korean action took place over a long weekend. People are now back at their desks. They're now working on what the details should be of the Council's reaction. And as soon as we have something to say, we'll say it. Thanks very much.
Can I ask you one question?
Go on.
These camps seem to be, the Manic Farm camps people are surrounded by barbed wire and soldiers. And the people are not only from the conflict zone, they're from elsewhere in northern Sri Lanka. They've been rounded up and put into camps funded by the UN. I wonder whether as the UK, you feel this is an appropriate use of UN funds and complies with humanitarian law to move people into camps where they can't leave when they weren't in the conflict zone.
Well, this issue's had very high level of attention from the United Nations in recent days. John Holmes has been there, Vijay Nambiar has been there, and the Secretary General was there over the weekend. We've yet to have a report back from them, and we look forward to that, and we'll have to consider steps after that.
Can I follow up on that? There was one of the things that we experienced while speaking with refugees there was that one group said that they had been outside the conflict zone, picked up by the government, and then placed in the camps, which sounds like, this isn't verified yet, but if that's true, it sounds like a concentration camp.